I'm going to talk a little bit about leopard geckos. Now, I've done a care video in the past, but I'm just going to talk about them a little bit again for anyone that's thinking about getting a leopard gecko. They're great pets because they're very simple to care for, and they're just very easy to care for. They don't require that much. So if you're going to buy a leopard gecko, all you need is a couple things. You obviously need a tank or some type of place for them to live in, and it should be, for a single leopard gecko, at least like a 10-gallon tank size. More than one leopard gecko, you'd want at least a 20-gallon, and so on from there. In the tank, you really don't need much. You need a water bowl, a food dish, which I don't really use this too much. I gotta clean this out. It's got some bedding in it, but I put some dry food in there, dried crickets, and then you need a calcium dish, which mine again is empty. I'm working on this cage right now. But all you need in the cage is water, food, and a calcium dish. And you don't really even need the food dish depending on what you feed if you're just feeding live crickets all the time. But pretty much they can live on a diet of mainly crickets. I mean, they could eat that their whole life. And you know, they'll eat a couple crickets a day, throw a couple in there, or every other day. I really don't feed mine every day. I usually feed them about 3 times a week, and I'll throw in a few crickets for them. Leopard geckos are, you know, there's tons of different patterns on them, which is nice. You'll see a few. You saw my one down here in the smaller cage that was like a white color. Now we got all these guys coming out. This is a hypo female. This one, I forget the name of these. I think they're called jungle, or maybe this one is. I don't know. This one's more like the normal pattern, and then another hypo female back here. Like I said, the cage setup is really simple though. Other than the food and water and calcium, all you need is a heat source. And you're going to want to have only part of their cage. This rack actually has a heat strip in the back. And you're going to want only about 1/4 of their cage to be heated. And the heated area of their cage should be between 85 and 90 degrees. And then the rest of their cage can just be normal room temperature. You don't have to worry about heating the rest. They don't require any UVB lighting, so you don't need any type of special lighting on their tank. You can put a light on their tank so you can view them for your viewing pleasure, but you don't need any lighting for them. They don't require UVB or a heat light or anything like that, although you can use a heat light or a heat pad to get their hot spot between 85 and 90. Usually they're pretty calm. I don't hold these guys that much, but you can see they're very easy to handle. And I handle these guys sometimes, but I really don't handle them that much. And they stay pretty calm just because, you know, I've never done any harm to them. So whenever I try to pick them up or anything, they know that I'm the person that feeds them, I guess. And they're just pretty calm. This one I've had since she was really tiny. The other ones I got more as they were bigger. Except for this guy, I think he was pretty tiny too, or she was pretty tiny when I got her. And then of course, you know, put some type of area for them to go inside. Usually that's in the hot spot called a hide, where they're gonna like sleep at. They like to be covered, have a little place to go into. It's really all you need. And here I got my one male. He's gonna run in there and hide. He's a hypo. And same thing, this rack has heat on the back, so they got their 85 to 90. As you can see right here, my rack is currently at, I don't know if you can see it, but it's currently at 90. So all these cages have a strip in the back of 90 degrees.